What is good, everyone? And welcome to this week's edition of the Wrestling with Fans podcast. This is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for fans from a fan's perspective. My name is Kyle. This is episode 189. It is our WrestleMania review. Super excited to be talking about WrestleMania. It was such an amazing weekend. It was harder for me to think that even that they could top night one. And boy, I think they topped night one. And that was hard. I really, really liked night one. Before we dive into all that fun stuff, let me just remind each and every one of you and I realized my microphone had not been on. That is just wonderful. Wonderful. So, yeah, Facebook.com/Wrestling with Fans. YouTube.com/Wrestling with Fans. We are live streaming the podcast for the very first time in a long while. And we can go into the YouTube app, search for Wrestling with Fans podcast, click the logo, and then click that subscribe button. We're on Instagram at Wrestling with Fans. I'm on TikTok at Wrestling with Fans. Check us out on the web at WrestlingWithFans.com. New shows are normally posted every single Monday morning at 6:05 a.m. Eastern. This show will either go live later tonight or tomorrow morning at 6:05. I haven't decided. If I can get it edited early, I'll go and post it tonight. Take us on the go. Download us to your favorite podcast listening device. Get us wherever you get your podcast fix. Just search Wrestling with Fans podcast. And then, as always, the email wwfshow@gmail.com. So I want to start WrestleMania. Now, I'm going to talk very briefly about night one. I already did a review of night one. I did that yesterday on Sunday. And while I'm pulling this up real quick, I'm going to add this to the video description. All right, let's see here. Content. So I'm going to briefly run down night one, because I've already talked about it. So if you're interested, let's see here. There's the link. Copy video. We're going to put that in the video description for anybody who wants to check that out. My night one review. I'm putting that in there right now. So that's in there. So if you want to go back and check out my night one review, it's on there. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. Got home, used the bathroom, worked on dinner, finished dinner, and then now I'm just now getting up here to do this. So flying by the seat of our pants here tonight, you guys. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Night one. So let's talk night one. Night one was absolutely insane. Now, if you looked on paper and you would have told me that, night one would be have a killer night, I probably would have said, it's possible. I'm not, going to hold my breath on it, but it's very possible that it could have a great night. And it actually was one of the better nights in WrestleMania in a while. Not going to lie. So for night one, started off with the Usos versus Boogs and Nakamura. Boogs apparently having a torn quadricep, so best wishes to him. We'll get more information on that. We'll put it out. Usos win in under 7 minutes. Then we get Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin. The match goes 8.5 minutes. Drew wins via pinfall. And in a sleeper awesome match for the entire weekend, Logan Paul and The Miz defeated Rey and Dominic Mysterio in a little over 11 minutes. After the match, The Miz turned on Logan Paul. Got a huge pop for it. Logan Paul is a natural. He was really, really good in the ring. I don't know who trained him or who worked with him ahead of time, but he did an awesome job. Kudos to Logan Paul. I'm not a big Logan Paul fan, but I respect the game when I see it. And then we got my favorite match, Bianca Bel-Air capturing the Raw Women's title in 19 minutes and 10 seconds. If you have not checked out Bianca's social media, check out her social media. She has posted a picture of her eye. At one point, Becky went like a forward flip, but her heel caught Bianca right in her left eye. And it is very swollen. It is very closed up right now. So hopefully it'll be a quick turnaround time for Bianca to get recovered from that. And then the big thing everybody's been talking about all weekend. Cody Rhodes to AEW confirmed. Cody Rhodes to WWE confirmed. God, I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm so used to saying so-and-so to AEW confirmed because that just seems to be the way things are going. But for the first time, really, it's coming back the other way. Cody Rhodes was the surprise participant, the surprise opponent for Seth Rollins. He got a huge reaction. When Kingdom came over the speakers, the crowd went absolutely nuts. Cody came out looking like the Homelander. He's basically the same guy he was in AEW. These two have amazing chemistry, put on a fire match. The match was pure fire. Cody wins in 21 minutes, 40 seconds. Then in the penultimate match, Charlotte Flair in a surprise. I honestly thought that Ronda was going to win. This match told a very different story than Bianca and Becky. It was a very good match. Both ladies, top of their game. The match goes 18 minutes, 23 seconds. Charlotte retains via pinfall. And in the main event of night one, the KO show with Steve Austin as special guest. Of course, it breaks down and turns into a full-blown, no-holds-barred match. The match goes 14 minutes even. Stone Cold Steve Austin picking up the win. He had his very first match in Dallas, Texas, and apparently he's having his very last match in Dallas, Texas. That was night one. Jump into the chat. DJ Play says, super excited for Raw tonight. So am I. For the first time in a while, I'm actually very excited for Monday Night Raw. I'm hoping to get this review in, and I might pull it up here on the computer for the time being until I get in front of the TV to watch, Raw proper. But I will be watching Raw for a little while before, of course, I go to bed 4:30 a.m. Comes very early on the East Coast. It is 7:43 right now, so I get up at 4:30 in the morning. It's not fun being up past 8 o'clock some nights. But anyway, if you have any comments on any of the matches from WrestleMania, make sure you leave them in the comments here on YouTube. Shout out to DJ Plays, of course, again for joining me here live. If you want to join live, youtube.com/wrestling with fans. Pay attention to the Instagram and to Facebook. That's where I post when the live streams are going until I can figure out a solid schedule, which will probably be a little easier over the summer. But right now, during the school year, it's a little hard. All right, night two. Now, night two on paper looked like it was going to be the better night. And there's a lot of debate I've seen online which night was better. I think they were both amazing in their own ways. But let's kick off the first match of night two. The triple threat match for the Raw Tag titles. Alpha Academy, Street Profits, RK Bro. These three teams have amazing chemistry together. Amazing chemistry. One of the coolest RKOs I have seen. Gable doing the big giant splash. Randy just kind of getting up from the side of the ring there and just nailing him with the RKO. Picking up the win for the team. Okay. Let's see. I'll get to your question here in just 1 second. Let me finish on this match. But yeah, the match was great. Super excited for RK Bro. They did a little celebration and stuff after the fact with Gable Steveson. Chad Gable kind of gets involved. Gable Steveson gives him a couple of suplexes. Goes back out and celebrates with RK Bro and the Street Profits. So DJ Play says, so Brock is still advertised for the next few pay-per-views. What do you think is next for him? That is a wonderful question. And I know the lights are going to change here on YouTube. That's because I'm switching between windows. Well, maybe I'll just do it this way. Not doing a lot of fancy stuff. I just got like two lights on, the blue light and this light up here. So not fancy looking. Hopefully everything sounds good for you guys. I don't know what's next for Brock. Now, getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I guess we can talk about it. The main event, the greatest match, the biggest match in WrestleMania history, so they say. Roman defeating Brock in 12 minutes and 20 seconds. He is now the unified WWE Universal Champion. Now, at one point during the match, it was basically like an unlimited finisher. The typical Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns type match. It's just unlimited finishers and, specialty moves. I think it was on a spear. And then the Kimura lock. that Brock caught him on. Roman's shoulder apparently popped out because when he got to the ropes, Paul Heyman's still in full gimmick mode, saying, my tribal chief, you've got to get up, my tribal chief, my tribal chief. And you can hear Roman audibly say, it's out. My shoulder's out. It's out. So I'm guessing his shoulder must have popped out either in the landing of the move or Brock accidentally popped it out while putting the Kimura on. So then, they get up. The ref, you can see he kind of touches his earpiece so he makes sure he hears the call right. There's a quick call to go home. Roman hits a spear. 1, 2, 3. The match only goes 12 minutes and 20 seconds. I have a feeling this match was supposed to have gone a lot longer. Maybe not longer, but several minutes longer at least. But it did seem to go home early. A very anticlimactic finish. It says here, literally for a minute, I thought Brock was going to win during the lock. I kind of did too. I had said beforehand, my prediction was Roman, which I got right. I just got I got that wrong. Got that right. I did pretty good. I went 6 for 8 on my predictions for Sunday, 5 of 7 on Saturday. So I went 11 for 15 overall on the weekend. I'm pretty happy with that. But as far as what's next for Brock, there's always the possibility of a rematch. I mean, that's... With the way that match ended, I would not be surprised if they went with some kind of rematch. Have the match that they wanted to have last night. It's very possible. Maybe we'll find out tonight. I don't know if Brock's going to be on Raw tonight. Maybe we can find out what is next for him. On the Raw side, there's not a lot of big heels on the Raw side. If they keep him on Raw, that you could use Edge. There's a new faction with Damian Priest. Work to an Edge versus Brock match. Lashley. It seems like Lashley is babyface now. They could do work to a Lashley and Lesnar program. Lashley did pick up the win over Omos in a match that I honestly did not care about. That's all I'm going to say about that. It just is what it is. Lashley beat Omos in 6.5 minutes. I thought Omos was going to win. I didn't think they'd be putting so much time and effort behind Omos to have him lose at WrestleMania. But alas, what do I know? Let's see. I'm very happy he'll be back at Bachelor. I am too. I love Brock. This is the best version of Brock Lesnar we've had. He just seems to be having the time of his life out there. A lot of fun. He's having a lot of fun, and I'm just happy to see it. And it's coming across in his ring work and in his matches. I love this Brock Lesnar. Match 3 on night 2. This match had no business being as good as it was. And I've seen a lot of people talk about this match saying, oh my God, it's such an embarrassment to wrestling. It's such an embarrassment to WrestleMania. But Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn was the most sports entertainment-y match of the entire weekend. And I got to say, I'll be the first to admit, I was thoroughly sports entertained by Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. That match is everything that I thought it was going to be. It was stupid. It was goofy. It was a lot of fun. It was not a wrestling match. It was pure sports entertainment. And like I said, I was thoroughly sports entertained for Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. Some really funny spots. I kind of popped a little bit for the bowling ball to the nuts, as I'm an avid bowler and have been for 30 years. Anytime I see a bowling ball or anything bowling related, not in the bowling alley, I love it. It was a lot of fun. The table spots, the foot on a spring. Sami took a big kick to the balls. He took the really crazy bump from the top rope to the outside through the table with the mouse traps. Again, that match had no business being as fun as it was. It had no business being that good. And it was sleeper one of the better matches of the entire weekend. DJ Play says, amazing match. Yes, 100% an amazing match. A lot of fun. A couple of his other jackass co-stars getting involved. Wee Man, who at one point even body slammed Sami Zayn. And then Chris Pontius comes out, starts dancing, strips his clothes off. We get Party Boy. Of course, you got to have naked Party Boy at WrestleMania if you got Chris Pontius out there. A lot of fun. I get some people, it's not their thing. Kind of like Kenny Omega wrestling a blow-up doll is not my thing. Kenny Omega wrestling a 9-year-old is not my thing. To each their own. I mean, if you didn't like the match, you didn't like the match. But I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Again, I was thoroughly sports entertained. And we'll leave it at that. After that, we get the Fatal 4-Way for the women's tag team titles. And during this match, I was actually working on dinner. So I actually did not see the majority of it, unfortunately. But from what I did see, is just kind of, instead of having a women's battle royal, this is just a way to get all 4 women, or all 8 women on the card. Big shout out to Naomi and Sasha Banks for picking up the women's tag team titles in just under 11 minutes. Then we go into a match that, going into the weekend, I thought was going to be the best match of the night. Now, it was the longest match of the weekend by a couple minutes. 24 minutes, 28 seconds, according to the Internet Wrestling Database for the timing. Edge and AJ Styles one-on-one. Now, we did not get anywhere near the type of match that I thought we were going to get. I thought we were going to get something similar to what we got from Cody and Seth the night before. Not the same moves, but the same kind of the pace. There's going to be a fast-paced match, hard-hitting, lots of back and forth, lots of near falls. It was a more slow and methodical match. I wasn't prepared for it. So initially, I was kind of like, I don't know, but in hindsight, man, it was really good. Very psychological. Edge's entrance was absolutely amazing. The throne rising up from the fire, the new theme song, still from Alter Bridge, but really good. The one thing I will say about that match that I didn't like was the finish. I thought the finish lacked. Now Damian Priest comes out and just kind of stands there like he's watching a monitor backstage. And AJ gets distracted for a moment. Then he goes for the phenomenal forearm, and Edge catches him with the spear. 1, 2, 3. And then we get Edge and Damian Priest kind of celebrating in the ring together. Seems Edge is starting a new dark evil faction. I'll be interested to see where they take that tonight, and if they add any new members tonight. This should be pretty interesting. DJ Plays says here, AJ and Edge will probably happen a couple more times. I hope it does. I'm all for it. I am all for more Edge and AJ Styles, while we can still have the two of them out there being able to put on, awesome matches. Match 6. The match that was pushed from night 1 due to timing is now happening on night 2, and I'm not sure what the case is. I have heard some things saying that this match was always going to be a very short match. It was originally, from what I heard, someone called it a flex match, where it could be moved around, shortened, lengthened, depending on time constraints, and where, if they ran out of time night 1, they can move it to night 2, so have a short, quick match. It was initially set to be a 6-man tag, the full 3 members of the New Day, versus Ridge Holland, Sheamus, and Pete Dunne. But of course, with Big E's injury, it was shortened down to a regular tag match. The match goes 1:44. Ridge Holland and Sheamus pick up the win. I think I used the bathroom during this match and had no idea what even happened. So, I don't know what the whole thing is. I'm sure they'll run it back on SmackDown this week because that's how things happen here in WWE. But the next match, I was very excited about this one. I've talked about it before. Pat McAfee's one-on-one match with Adam Cole, Bebe, and the War Games match he had with Team McAfee versus Undisputed Era was really, really good. I love Pat McAfee. He's the best announcer in the game. He makes SmackDown fun. He even makes Michael Cole tolerable to me. And I cannot stand Michael Cole after all these years. Michael Cole is an amazing commentator. I'm just tired of it. Tired of his voice. Need a little change. But I digress. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory goes 9.5 minutes. Pat McAfee picking up the win. But what happens next? This is where things get interesting. So after Pat McAfee picks up the dub, he starts barking at Mr. McMahon, who had been sitting at ringside the entire time, goading the chairman of the board to get into the ring for a match. So Vince gets up from his chair ringside. He teases taking off the jacket, and he's like, nah. Well, then he's like, you know what? I'm going to take the jacket off. Then he takes the tie off. Then he takes his shirt off, and he's got the black wife beater on, the shirt, you know what I mean, a black A shirt, black undershirt on. Gets in the ring, and it turns into, for all intents and purposes, it was a handicap match. Austin Theory got involved several times. Mr. McMahon, 76-year-old Vincent Kennedy McMahon, picking up his very first ever win at WrestleMania in 3 minutes 46 seconds over the recent victor, Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee could have been one and done and been undefeated, but he's 1-1 now. DJ Play says Cody is kicking off Raw tonight. I know I'm super excited for Cody Rhodes to open Monday Night Raw this week. I'm really curious to see what he says. If you haven't had the opportunity to, the media scrum from post WrestleMania, the interview with Cody was really good, really telling. I think Denise Salcedo on her YouTube channel has her perspective from that interview, from that media scrum. Highly recommend checking that out. But once Mr. McMahon beats Pat McAfee, him and Austin Theory start jumping Pat McAfee, and then, of course, it wouldn't be a WrestleMania moment without the Texas Rattlesnake. Stone Cold Steve Austin. The glass breaks. Steve comes down, stuns Theory. He goes to celebrate with Vince, gives him a toast. Vince takes the absolute worst Stone Cold Stunner in the history of professional wrestling. Vince goes down from the kick to the stomach. He gets back up, stumbles into the ropes. Steve's laughing his ass off. Stone Cold just walks over, grabs Vince, and then drops down for the stunner. Vince basically sat out from it. Worse stunner than the first one he took 25 years ago. Then, of course, Austin and Pat McAfee celebrate with some beers. Stone Cold giving Pat McAfee a few beers, having him celebrate on the ring post. Only for them to toast in the middle of the ring. Stone Cold dropping Pat McAfee with the stunner. Drinking some more beers, celebrating with the crowd. Awesome moment. So glad to have Stone Cold back this weekend. He definitely added a whole new level of star power to WrestleMania this weekend. A lot of fun seeing Stone Cold back. I hope this isn't the last we see of him. Even if he's not in a match, I hope we see some more of Steve Austin. And of course, we've already talked about the main event. Reigns and Lesnar. Now, I'm going to go and pull this up because I'm going to forget about this if I don't. Give me 1 second here. You have to say my computer here. V Network, USA Network. And I need to turn my VPN on. So hopefully this doesn't screw anything up. Cody may call Roman out. That would be interesting. I don't know if they want to go to Cody and Roman right away. I would be okay if they did. I wouldn't complain about seeing Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. But I still don't think it's time for the match. Now, if they do want to book Cody and Roman, I think they got to build Cody. They got to reestablish him with the WWE Universe. He needs to reestablish himself because there's a lot of people, like I said over the weekend, who still only know him as Stardust. But he is so much more now. But again, like I said, I am good. I think we're good. Okay. I had to turn my VPN on to be able to pull up the website. So sorry for that quick little glitch there. Let me refresh so I can have Monday Night Raw up. Mute that. All right. That means it's about time to call it quits here. We'll stay on live for a little bit, but definitely want to get in a comfortable position to watch Monday Night Raw tonight, guys. Super pumped for it. I'm sure tonight. I know Roman's going to be on Raw tonight. Cody is opening Raw. Let me see what the official preview says. So Roman will be there. Cody will be there. And Veer. Veer makes his debut finally. After I don't know how many days and months it's been. But I'm super excited for Raw tonight. We're getting the opening intro there now. But I think by the end of tonight, we're going to know a lot about where things are going to go for Backlash. For Cody, for Roman, for Brock. I imagine we'll get a follow-up with Edge and Damian Priest this week. The weird thing is, if you're listening to the audio version of the show, you already know what's happening. Because I'm recording this I started a little after 7:30 on Monday night. Recording my WrestleMania review. Monday Night Raw starting at 8:01 p.m. Eastern. So by the time you listen to the audio show this week, you'll already have known what happened on Monday Night Raw. So this is going to be kind of a moot point. But overall, WrestleMania, man, I give it a solid B+. Maybe even an A-. Like, I think it was just that good of a weekend. You know, the product has been pretty stale. You know, it's ad nauseum. You hear people talk about how bad the TV product is. But when it comes to WrestleMania, they really, really turned it on for me. I was very impressed with WrestleMania. And I'm hoping this kind of leads to better things. Maybe this will be the moment that turns the WWE around. I'm kind of wondering if Cody's going to be a part of that. You know, he grew up, he came up in the WWE system. He went around the world, you know, went to New Japan, went to Ring of Honor, started another promotion, started the rival promotion, AEW, and now he's back in WWE. And the one thing he keeps saying over and over in all of his interviews is, I'm ready to play the game. I think before, he just didn't want to be in the system. He didn't want to play the WWE way. And I think now that he has a family, a young daughter, he's talked about that a few times. You know, the money they're going to pay him, that's going to be, you know, the future for his kids. Or he may not have been able to get that kind of money with AEW. Don't really know. But he says, I'm ready to play the game. Makes me think that he's kind of ready to fall into the line. And I'm wondering, this could be the start too. If Cody comes in, things work great for Cody, and he feels creatively fulfilled. He's having good matches. The money's good. A lot of the AEW stars, their contracts will be coming up. There's several now that are not being renewed, like Marco Stunt. I think Joey Janela was another one who was either released or the contract wasn't renewed. So you're going to have a lot of AEW talent who are going to be hitting the free agent market. A lot of AEW now is, ex-WWE stars. There's still so many of their homegrown talent, but they have a lot of ex-WWE guys. So I'm wondering if some of those AEW talents that have never been in WWE take a shot at the E, want to come in. And Cody has said he will be totally honest and give as much insight as he can. I know he's not going to sway them to come in. He's not going to sway them to not come in. He said he's going to be open and honest with anybody who wants to know. And it's really crazy. Like this weekend, just hearing him talk, like I'm starting to kind of dig Cody. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon by any means. But I think, just hearing him talk and, it's kind of hard to describe unless you got to listen to the interviews, the media scrum stuff. It's crazy to see how much even he's changed since like AEW was coming up. I used to watch Being the Elite every week. Yeah, I still do. Pre-AEW, man, he was saying a lot of things. I'm like, man, who does this guy think he is? And now it's like he has his outlook has completely changed. And I think it's come across a lot in his performance and his media appearances. Whether or not that's legit and that becomes the norm for Cody, we'll find out over time. But I was very impressed by him this weekend. Like I said, I wasn't a big Cody fan, but his match with Seth, one of the top 3 matches of the entire weekend. Super, super excited for WrestleMania 38. Such a good weekend. WrestleMania 39, April 1st and 2nd from SoFi Stadium in Southern California. They made that announcement. But I'm going to end the podcast version here. I'm going to stay live on YouTube for a few more minutes. We'll see what happens at the opening Raw. They're recapping WrestleMania from last night. So as far as the audio show, don't forget Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Wrestling with Fans. You can find it wherever, at Wrestling with Fans everywhere. WWFshow at gmail.com is the email. Wrestling with Fans on your podcast app. WrestlingWithFans.com is the website. I'm just trying to get this all out real quick before they start Raw. That's going to do it for the audio version. If you're joining me on YouTube, please stay tuned. I'm going to stay live for a few more minutes, but until then, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Once again, my name is Kyle, and I'll see you next time right here on Wrestling with Fans. All right, so we are done with the audio version of the show. I'm going to get ready to pull that up and start editing. But everybody's still here on the YouTube, let me know. Have a little snacky snack here. I'm going to go ahead and start the editing process of the show. Let's see. Where is my video? There we go. It's audio MP3. That one. I think what I might do for YouTube. I've lost a few subscribers on YouTube, which is cool. I ain't stressing that. All right, Cody's coming out. All right, sorry, but I'm gonna do a room tour now that I have this office set up for those who are watching on YouTube. You know, the updated look here. You can see from this camera angle, got all kinds of stuff here. So I'm gonna do a room tour update, and I thought about doing a fun video more for like the behind the scenes stuff for anybody who may have ever want to get into podcasting. Is I'm gonna show my process for editing a podcast each week. I think that'd be kind of fun. I'm still kind of confused as what that was up with that. I guess they bring out the big ramp for Cody to come out of since he has to come up from under the stage, and these new stages aren't very conducive for WWE stars coming up from underneath of them. Not like back in the Attitude Era where you had like the tall stage. You got the low stage back there now. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a kind of behind the scenes video for all of you wonderful people out there. And then again, we'll do a room tour. I did want to 50 subscribers. And got to do some cleaning up. Because now this room also doubles as Jen's office. She works from home. So she works from home. Okay, there it is. I'll make sure I have the file out. So it's kind of a dual purpose. Still my office though. But I have some stuff up. I don't have a lot of wrestling stuff up, a lot of toys up, other than what you can see behind me. But I'm going to do some more, put some more things up, and then we'll do a room tour, which I think will be a lot of fun. But it seems as the YouTube crowd has bowed out, which is cool. Appreciate you all for coming in and joining us. And there was a few extra people in here. DJ Plays, thank you as always, my friend. Also, thank you for reaching out. Earlier, I wasn't gonna go live. I had thought about it if I had time. I was just gonna come upstairs and, record the show. But I'm glad you hit me up, and I said, I'll go live. I'll be on about 7:30. Got on a little bit later than I had originally wanted to, but did make it on for a quick 35-minute stream, I think. But yeah, again, I want to do more of this. I miss YouTube. I need to start making videos, but until then, I'm gonna do some live streams. But Cody Rhodes is getting ready to speak, y'all. I hope you all enjoy Monday Night Raw. Let me know what you think of it, and we'll see you next time right here on Wrestling with Fans.